Welcome back to 90.7 Perspectives on WVAS. It's Wednesday. I'm your host, Rob Taylor, and we are continuing to talk with our candidates. And up next, District Judge candidate Laura Clemens is in the studio. She is a Tuscaloosa native, is that right?
Yes, I am. That's correct.
And she describes herself in 3 words: dedication, dignity, and honor. And I want to thank you so very much for stopping by this evening. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you are a candidate for the District Judge Place 3 seat, is that right?
That's correct. District Judge Place 3.
So tell me a little bit about Laura Clemens.
Laura Clemens is originally from Tuscaloosa. I am third oldest of 6 children. My parents taught us the value of work. They taught us the importance of treating others with respect, and we worked very hard growing up.
And you describe yourself as, in 3 words, dedication, dignity, and honor. Would you care to explain why you chose those 3 words?
Okay. I'm dedicated to whatever mission God places in my life, and that means that I am going to work as hard as I possibly can to fulfill that mission, or I'm going to work really hard to make sure that the people that I'm serving, that they are treated with respect and dignity, and that I am doing the very best that I can to assist them. Honor, you've got to work and you've got to be an honorable person. You've got to do whatever you do because it's right, and you're going to do it no matter who speaks out against you. If you know it's the right thing to do, that's me. I'm going to do that. And I can think of times where I have just really worked hard, and people were saying, no, that's not what we want you to do. But I knew that I had a commitment to do the right thing, and that's my focus. I'm going to be committed to doing what's right, and everybody that comes across my path, they will be treated with respect, and they will be treated fairly.
I want you to share with the audience your journey to get to this point here, to run for judgeship, because I heard you talk a little bit about it this past week, about your journey.
Yes, sir. I started out as a social worker working for the Department of Human Resources. I worked there as a social worker for a while, and then I was promoted up to a supervisor, later promoted to a trainer, and then the assistant director, and then director. And I am the first African American who served as the director and assistant director of DHR in Anderson, Alabama. So when I'm working there, I'm working representing the people, talking with the people, making sure that everybody who comes through our doors receive proper services. And once I became the director, I worked with the community, did a lot of community work, just making sure that individuals received services and that they were treated with respect when they came into our office. And oftentimes I saw policy that needed to be changed, or services that were not proper, and I worked with legislative people, I worked with our board, I worked with state office, saying that things need to be changed, and I saw myself as being instrumental in getting a lot of policy change that really affected the needs of the people that we serve, to make sure those needs were being met, and also policy change to make sure we were meeting the needs of the children who came into our system for care.
When it comes to a district judge, do you believe judges should be selected or elected?
I wish I could change the policy, but as the policy is now, judges are elected. And I know that when I became an attorney, my goal was to work and represent individuals who couldn't represent themselves, as well as make sure that they received equal justice, no matter if they were paying clients or non-paying clients. So when I became an attorney, and what I did, I retired from DHR after 26 years and 6 months, went to law school. I brought my daughter here to attend school at AUM, and my son was at Auburn at that time. He's deceased now. But I brought her here, and once I finished law school, she decided for me, Mom, let's stay in Montgomery and bring your practice here. So I opened up my practice, and I've been practicing here, working in all the courts to make sure that the people that I represent are represented well.
Mm-hmm. Laura Clemens is my guest. If you have a question or comment, feel free to dial us up at 269-6785. 269-6785. She's running for District Judge Place 3. Dial us up if you have a question or comment. That number again, 269-6785. So help us to understand, what are the duties of a district judge?
Okay, district judge will cover small claims court, and when the amount of controversy is under $6,000, that's considered small claims, and that goes into the small claims court. District court jurisdiction also cover misdemeanors, contract issues if those issues are under $10,000. So you would say misdemeanors, landlord-tenant issues, contract issues would be cases that would come to district court. Tickets also come to district court. We also hear cases that we do preliminary hearings and hear those cases to see if further court action is necessary. So it's a pretty large responsibility.
So you're an attorney, but so why did you make the decision? Why would you want to be a judge?
Why would I want to be a judge? Judges are able to make a difference in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that serving as an attorney, you make an attorney. I think every position I've had, I've made a difference in serving others. I'm a career person that serves others and wants to do what's best to help other people. And I see this position as one where I will be able to be fair, I'll be honest, I will listen to everyone who comes into my courtroom, and I will apply the law based on the evidence that's presented. I know oftentimes individuals may say, well, I didn't have a chance to really express myself in court, I wasn't listened to, but everyone coming into Laura Clemens District Court will be listened to, they will be treated with respect and dignity, and they will be treated fairly. They may go out and say, well, she had to rule or she didn't rule in my favor based on the evidence and based on the law, but I do feel that she listened to me, she was fair, and she treated me with dignity and respect, and I think that's very important.
What is your stance on giving back or giving to the community?
I believe that that's very important. I can remember when I was in college that I volunteered to mentor some young children to help them get out of trouble. I also served as a probation officer assistant when I was in college. So I think it's important to give back to the community. It's important to serve on different community panels. It's important to be out there. Like you can look on my page, you'll see that I'm working at the Salvation Army, helping serve food. I'm delivering food to low-income people or those who need help. I'm mentoring children and teenagers, working with young adults, working with Boys and Girls Club and various organizations in the community. I think it's very important because when you're out there and you're really showing individuals who you really are and that you care, that's what's important. And I do care. And I do want individuals to know that I care about them enough to make a difference and to be out there with them in their struggles and trying to make their struggles better.
I'm sitting here listening to you, and you sound like you've been a busy person since your college days. I mean, non-stop going.
I have, but that's me. That's who I am. When I retired from DHR and went to law school, I had a plan then, and I knew that God had this plan for me to make a difference, serving in various ways. And every time He leads me in a different path, I say, thank you, Lord, because I know when I leave or when that job is completed and he places me on another, that I've made a difference with the people that I've come in contact with.
And I understand you were raising your children while attending law school.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
How did that experience shape who you are today?
That experience taught me to be strong, to never give up, and to fight for what you really feel is important. As I said, my daughter, I brought her here to school, and my son was at Auburn, and I took a job working as a paralegal, as a secretary, as a clerk, making $5 an hour, but I knew that job would give me some experience and give me some extra money to put myself through law school as well as support my children. And then I got another job working as a clerk making $10 an hour. So I thought, okay, God, you're giving me some great experiences, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get the end results. That experience taught me that you can do whatever you want to if you really put your heart, if you put God first and put your heart to it, you can be successful. So as a single mom, at that time I was divorced, but raising my kids, putting them through college, and then putting myself through law school, I was like, okay, Lord, with you, I can accomplish anything.
Wow. Laura Clemens is in the studio with us, and she is a candidate for District Judge, Place 3. If you have a question or comment, feel free to dial us up at 269-6785. That number again, 269-6785. And if you'll grab those headphones there, we'll go to the phone lines and take a call from Patricia in Montgomery. Thanks for calling, Patricia.
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Patricia. I am involved in mentoring children, mentoring young adults. I am a member of the Alabama State Bar, member of the Selma Bar. There are some other organizations that I have worked with, Boys and Girls Club, Hope Inspired Ministries. I also work with the youth in the community, working with the inner city youth, teaching Sunday school, spending time with them, and just mentoring young people. Those are just some of the things I do. I also work with the elderly people at my church. It's called the Widows Group. We do different activities with them so that they can feel that they are cared for and that they are members of people who really care about them. So, I mean, there are various things. I also work with the Salvation Army, going feeding breakfasts and dinners and just doing whatever is available for me to do.
This is 90.7 Perspectives on WVAS. I'm your host, Rob Taylor, and in the studio with me is District Judge candidate Laura Clemens. We're going to go back to the phone lines, take a call from Peggy in Montgomery. Thanks for calling, Peggy. You're on the air.
Okay, very good question. The date to vote is June the 5th, 2018. That's a couple of weeks from now. That is the primary, but since two candidates are running, when I get the majority of the votes, I will be your next district judge. So the date to vote is June the 5th. Yes, I have had experience in district court. I worked as a managing attorney with Legal Services Alabama in Selma. We had cases dealing with issues in district court. I've handled tickets, I've handled misdemeanors, I've handled DWIs, DUIs. So I've handled cases that will flow through district court. So that's the experience I've had as an attorney. I've tried cases in I will say all over Alabama. I've tried cases where individuals may have been, well, say my first case that I tried was a medical malpractice case, first major case out of law school. We sued, a big hospital sued the doctors and were able to be successful in that case. So I have been challenging myself as an attorney to help individuals when they come to me, and if the challenge is one that I haven't had the experience in, I am willing to get the experience. I'm willing to do what's necessary to make sure that my clients are represented and treated properly and that they get justice.
Again, if you have a question or comment, dial us up 269-6785, 269-6785. So when does Laura Clemens have time for Laura Clemens?
Believe it or not, I have two wonderful grandsons, and they called me the other night and said, "Granny, you have not spent any time with us." So I went over and we watched a movie. So that's my life. When they say come, I decided, at this point, I've campaigned for about a year now. We've gone somewhere every Sunday, every weekend, every week, and spending time with my grandkids and my daughter and my son-in-law and my mom and my family, sisters and brothers. That's my reward. And going to church and hanging out with my church family. So I do take time, but it has been a busy year, but it's been a great year. I've met so many wonderful people in the community that will be my friends forever.
So what would you say are the top issues or some of the issues in that you see?
Some of the issues that I see, and I'll put it this way, there are issues that individuals who are out there, and one that I'm going to talk about importantly, I noticed this when I was working with Legal Services Alabama. there were so many people who didn't know that they could get representation without paying for an attorney. They thought that they would have to pay for attorneys, and oftentimes they would come into court without representation or without having someone who have advised them. It is okay to come in and serve as a pro se person, but oftentimes you do need a little information about how you can strategize and how you can win your case. So when I worked at Legal Services Alabama, we were busy in the community explaining to individuals that if you meet a certain income and if your case meets a certain criteria, that you can get representation without having to pay for your services and get good representation. So that's one thing that I did when I was working at Legal Services. And there are still a lot of people here in Montgomery and in throughout Alabama who don't know that legal services are available if they meet that criteria. And also there is the pro bono program where attorneys volunteer and provide their services to individuals. And that's just something that people need to know about. It needs to be told to individuals on a larger basis.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Birmingham and talk to Elaine. Elaine, thanks for calling. You're on the air. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, very good question. When you are going before a judge, a lot of people feel that it's scary. This is their first time. They don't know what to expect. And one thing I would like to see is education for the community. Just sessions where they can come to the court and observe what's going on in the courtroom, but also education and going around to different schools and different community events. And I do that sometimes now, letting individuals know that the court is a place for justice. It's a place where you can go and have your day in court and be heard. And I think education is the most important thing. Explaining to the community and individuals the process of the court and how things work. I think that's very important. And one thing I also like to do, I served as a judge for a group of teenagers who were trying a case.
Mm-hmm.
And those teenagers were homeschool children, but they came to the court. We had a court in Prattville. They came there and they were prepared and they knew what they were doing. I would like to see that training offered in every school for every child, to understand the court process, the judicial process, to be able to present a case, argue a case, and and I told those young people, you guys are great. They knew exactly how to try their case. To put on their evidence. They knew how to question the witnesses, and I thought, wouldn't that be wonderful if that was in every school where students know the process and they can participate in the process. So that's something I'd like to do for young people as well as for the community. And even now I serve as trying to educate clients when they're going to court, and when they call me and say, well, I can't afford an attorney, I explain the process to them. So education can be done on an ongoing basis by myself as well as other attorneys and other people involved in the judicial system.
I take this final minute and talk to the voters. Share anything else you'd like to share with them that maybe we didn't touch on.
Okay. I would like for Montgomery to know that the date to vote is June the 5th, and once I am elected, I will continue to be involved in the community. I will continue to be an advocate, and even though there are certain limits certain things that you can't do as a judge, but I will still do what I can to assist and to be out there in the community serving others and doing what's important. Also, I will be receiving training. I'll be working with different legislative people talking about things that can be changed and things that can be reformed, because as a judge, we can continue to advocate on justice or advocate for justice for individuals. I will always do that. I am a humble person. I am a God-fearing person. I have been serving since back as a teenager, and I will continue to serve, and I will continue to do what's best to meet the needs of the community.
Laura Clemens, it was a pleasure to sit down and talk with you. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. A pleasure. You also.
Laura Clemens is a candidate for the district judge at Place 3 seat, and she has been my guest here on 90.7 Perspectives on WVAS. And we'll be watching and paying attention on June 5th.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with more right here on WVAS.